Hello, I'm Mayor Cheryl Brothers. Today I'm here with our city manager, Rob Houston. We're going to get an update on city finances and the impacts the pandemic has had. Because we're social distancing here, I'm going to remove my mask and Rob can do so if he chooses.
Thank you, Mayor Brothers. It's certainly finances have been a key part of our city as well as our whole economic national picture, and it's been unprecedented. Of course, COVID, no one could predict this, but we've done our best to try to forecast what the impacts would be because we don't have a model of any past experiences. With a budget of our general fund of roughly $53 million, we look at this current fiscal year, which starts in July, of having a deficit from drops in sales tax. As businesses are closed, we don't get the revenues. Mm-hmm. So we were looking at roughly a deficit hole of $5.1 million. So that's a big hole to fill. And we have done a lot of action to try to fill that hole, that gap.
When we were talking about Measure HH and doing our forecasting, we did forecast about this time a dip in revenue. And now it's even deeper than we originally forecast. So while some drop off in revenue was expected, this is sort of becoming unprecedented. And I think another thing that factors into this is all the people not going to work and not buying gas.
That's a good point. I think back to your point, we do have a 20-year forecast. I think council's got a good fiscal conservative mindset that's been there for many years. And so our staff try to look ahead, try to forecast conservatively. And as you said, we did forecast, in that 20 years, there's got to be some fluctuations. It's not just a steady line. Had a bit of a deficit. This is probably twice as big as we had anticipated, but it helped us plan to not have to make severe cuts like some other cities because we're thinking fiscally conservative, we're putting savings away, and we're able to weather the storm.
Could you explain to our viewers here how our sales tax works with the state and the county? There's something called Bradley-Burns tax, and how does that work?
Well, certainly we have two types of taxes. We have Bradley-Burns and we have our Measure HH, which is an extra 1% that the voters approved 3 years ago. And it allowed, although they're both 1%, they're 1%, one is on the actual sales that are purchased in town and the other is delivered services in town. So depending on the goods, it roughly is 1%, but there's some slight variations. And both those taxes, as people have bought less goods, there's been less stores open, have dropped. And we think between the two taxes, roughly about 11% decrease is what we're forecasting. And again, I say forecasting because we're just guessing. We will know sort of mid to end September. We're going to have our first solid numbers of how the summer is trending. And we should know better. Was it worse than expected or better or around 11%? So that'll really give us a good picture.
Okay. And I know from myself, there's a lot more online purchasing because stores are closed. Can you explain how the online sales tax works? I know we all pay that tax, but how does it work for cities?
Yeah, well, it wasn't working well for a number of years. It was sort of the Wild West of taxes. So people, if you remember a few years ago, you could buy things online with no tax. And it's like, wow, what a great deal. Hard for our local people to compete. There's been a number of new laws and even some lawsuits that have sort of cleaned up that world. And so now if you do purchase something that's delivered from wherever to your door in Fountain Valley, the city does, through a complicated mechanism from the state collecting, we get our 1% at least on that amount of revenue, and we are starting to see that actually hit as some new revenue that's coming in that wasn't there a number of years ago.
But it is treated differently than goods sold directly in stores in Fountain Valley.
Yes.
We know there's a lot of uncertainty financially, and it's important that we focus on that going forward, at least as long as this stay-in order is in place. and maybe even beyond that, because we are seeing some of our businesses and restaurants close permanently, which will impact us for some time in the future, yet to be unknown. Can you share some information on some of the funding from the CARES Act, which is federal and state? I believe CARES Act is federal.
Federal, yeah.
But we're receiving some funding from federal and state money, but it comes with restrictions. Can you talk about what those are in general and how we're dealing with that?
Certainly. Yes, there has been help that a lot of the media has covered this over the last number of months. CARES Act is a big federal chunk of money that was split across the nation, ended up going to the state, then the county, down to the cities, all broken up. We have gotten some decent funds, but with the strings attached, we've got a lump of a little over $1 million total for the city to help us offset COVID-related costs just for our services. And so this has been for all the masks and they call it PPE, all the different things at our city hall where we've got sort of protective barriers, as well as extra charge costs we have in our fire department and our police department to respond to COVID. So it doesn't offset all the sales tax drop we said, but it just helps keep us funded for some of those costs. So that was one chunk of money. In addition, there's been a big focus on helping small businesses because this is, again, unprecedented. You get told you have to shut your doors. That's never happened before in this country. And so this is a tough time. So we've gotten chunks of money that have flown through different avenues, including our county supervisors, where the money's flown to them. And so we've received money with strings attached for direct help to small businesses. And so we have 2 district supervisors in our city. District 2 is from Warner Avenue South. Michelle Steele's the supervisor. We received a grant of $913,000, which was given out in $10,000 increments to businesses to help them with COVID costs. Basically, they could use it just to support their business. And so we had a big push to advertise, a big lottery to see who could win, and we'll have at the end, when it's all issued, 91 businesses helped. We had additional funding in a different fund to help 14 other businesses, and then in District 2, to the north of Warner, or District 1, sorry, to the north of Warner, Supervisor Doe, they're still finishing their grant program, but there should be roughly 55 businesses that also receive a $10,000 grant. So we're trying to do help facilitate that, get that money out to the community, help those businesses. And this is in addition to other funds that have come with payroll protection plans that have come from the federal government that the city hasn't been involved in. So we know it's not enough, but we're doing what we can to be a partner and get those funds into businesses to keep them going.
So that's good. And I've noticed that a lot of restaurants and some businesses, not many, but mostly restaurants, have taken advantage of one of the things we put in place in moving to outdoor dining. So how does that work for a business?
Well, it's we've tried to be creative and help businesses any way we can. And when we don't have extra cash to give them, how can we just keep them operational? And so I think with council and staff working together with the businesses, we've had some creative ideas. We've done some waiving of fees. So banner fees typically were $55. We've waived that. If you need a banner in front of your business to advertise, we get it. And then outdoor dining. It's an idea of trying to, if you can't open indoors, but you're allowed to have a patio and eat out there. Not every restaurant or hairdresser or nail salon has an outdoor space. So we've worked with property owners and the businesses to say, if you can coordinate a space, take some parking spots away, get it approved by your surrounding businesses, so you're not just taking your neighbor's parking, set it up safely, then we're here to facilitate that. You don't have to pay anything. You do register with us, but it's free. And it's encouraging to see the businesses out there. I think it's a great program. We've had a lot of people sign up for it. I know on my lunch hour, I'm often driving around and I've come to some businesses and just say, they have like one table sitting outside and say, you could probably get more, get some information. We did a blitz with our economic development. We got some rec staff, and they did a blitz to all the commercial centers just to advertise this and get the word out, because we want as many businesses as possible to keep moving.
And you mentioned our recreation staff, and I understand that we've kept all of them on board, maybe with reduced hours in some cases, but they have been our feet on the street in a lot of areas. That's a real asset that we were able to keep and make use of.
It is. We want to have all hands at deck, and with recreation staff, you've got happy, energetic, friendly people in a time when you feel kind of down. It's nice to have them bouncing around. Yeah.
Yes, and they are that.
Yeah.
Yes. The information for a banner permit is on your screen. Contact City Hall and apply for a permit. One of the things that I know that we're doing, and it's coming out very soon, is supporting the Chamber of Commerce and our Fountain Valley businesses with a coupon book called Shop 92708. And the city had some funds that we were able to help with the printing, I understand, of that book. And the book will come out. It will be available in a lot of locations. We've encouraged every business who advertised in the book to also sell the book, and I believe the purchase price is going to be $20. There will be a lot of coupons in there that you can use. Coupons will be good for a year, and we hope that you will purchase those, use the coupons to help our businesses stay in business. We don't want to see any more of them close. We're also not, and I repeat not, the mask police. I know I've had requests, and we get reports from people who say there are people in the park, they're not wearing a mask. It's not a requirement, it's not a mandate, either from the Orange County Health Department or the city. It's recommended for everyone's protection, but it's not a requirement. And as much as some people would like to see us patrol and do something about that, first of all, we don't have the staff. And it would take a lot of our law enforcement time to do it legally. And there are ways you can protect yourself. If you're in the park, certainly wear a mask and stay just 6 feet away from people who may be jogging and not wearing a mask, and don't collect in large groups that are not part of your immediate family. Sometimes I think some of our people are disturbed by the fact that they're large groups having a picnic, but I might remind you, that's probably one family. Rob, while you're still here, is there any last thoughts you'd like to leave us with?
Well, just want to tell everyone, I think, hold on, we're going to get through all this. As we've mentioned, all these programs that we're trying to roll out, funding we're trying to make available, and we're constantly trying to brainstorm other ways to be creative. If we can get fitness camps, fitness companies that are closed, if they want to try to use part of our park to recreate outdoor safe fitness center options, or if there's ideas, people can contact the city and we'll hear them. We want to try to be here it takes a village to take this on, and we're just encouraged that hopefully we're closer to the end than the beginning, and we want to keep everybody, all our businesses alive and get through this, and we'll get there together, and Fountain Valley will continue to be a nice place to live.
Perfect. Well, thank you, Rob.
Thank you.
So as we see some of our restrictions about to be lifted, I want to remind you to stay active for your own health, stay informed since things change sometimes daily, and stay engaged. If you feel you need help in any way, please contact City Hall. If we don't have the resource you need, we have contact information for many agencies in Orange County. With the Center for Seniors at Founders Village, they have put together for September Bloomin', Zoomin', Seniors Speaker Series lineup. That's hard to say. That's a mouthful. Say that fast 3 times. Starting on September 1st, they will have virtual travel talks with a guest speaker. On Tuesday, September 8th, is the Founders Village 15th anniversary edition. It's hard to believe it's been 15 years. It seems to some of us it's been there forever, and to others, 15 years has been a very short time. On September 22nd, they will have a safety tips on natural gas in your home. And on the 29th, putting your best foot forward. We'll see what that is. There's information on your screen about how to register for that virtual program, and they would like you to register. Fall recreation classes are just around the corner for Fountain Valley. Classes will begin on September 9th. This year, for now, they will be virtual classes. You can register online. It's open now, and you can register in person at the Recreation Center. Check the website for hours. In-person classes may resume when the state releases Orange County from the restrictions. For now, all of our classes are virtual, and the information on how to register is on your screen. September is National Preparedness Month. The theme for this year's National Preparedness is Disasters Don't Wait. Make your plan today. More information is on the website on your screen. Remember that natural disasters could include earthquakes and flood. We want you to be prepared should any of those things happen. We want your family to be prepared. So put a plan together by discussing the questions below with your family, friends, or your entire household, and how to start an emergency plan. Consider the specific needs that your household would have. That would include medication, supplies, pets. There's a number of things that you should consider that would be just for your household. Fill out the family emergency plan. It's available online. And then practice your plan with your family and your household. Remember to stay safe, wear face coverings when you're outside, stay 6 feet apart, and wash your hands often, even at home. If we all follow these rules, we will come out of this sooner. We're making great progress. We can't quit now. Until next time.